As we going towards the boathouse, I look in the distance and it's this man in all black. He's in all black. And he turns and it looked like he had the white collar. I couldn't be sure. I couldn't be positive, but it looked like he had the white collar because Puff said, yo, Gene, stay right here. And I stayed right there and he kept on walking. So when Puff get directly to the dude, he gets down on his knees. When he gets down on his knees, this man takes something and it seemed like it had smoke in it and he started doing it around Puff. And then he went back and forth and then he went up and down with it, sideways with it, then back around him. And then he put it down. And then he put his hand on Puff's head and I guess he started, saying something. I don't even really know what he said, but I couldn't tell what he said. You understand what I'm saying? Long story short, I see Puff reach into this case. And when he reached into this case, he came out and you could see something white in his hand. I didn't know it was a bird. I didn't know what it was at first, but he threw it up in the air. And when he threw it in the air, the came straight back down like it was a brick and said, bow on the concrete. And I was like, oh, that was a dove. That was a bird. Puff just got up. Puff just looked at the dude and just started walking towards me.
You got Ashton Kutcher in love with Mila Kunis on that 70s show. Then they break up for absolutely no reason after he starts hanging out with Diddy. Then he marries Demi Moore, who drained him of all the adrenochrome she can, and apparently he replenished himself by doing inappropriate things with their daughters. I'm glad. I'm sure you're glad. Like Bruce Willis has dementia right now.
She's getting a drip with me. She's hydrating. What's up, Ma?
Everything's good, baby. I'm here with you.
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
My baby.
Ma, I'm freshly dipped though.
To yourself, but don't forget what? What you trying to do, Chef?
The courtroom was completely silent, not because the judge ordered it, not because someone asked for quiet, but because no one could believe what they had just seen. 12 jurors sat motionless. Some leaned back in their chairs, visibly disturbed. Others avoided eye contact with the screen altogether. A few shifted in discomfort, and at the center of it all was the man whose empire once represented power, success, and glamour, Sean Diddy Combs. When the footage began rolling in court, the mood shifted immediately. This was no longer a case built on hearsay. This was real, undeniable evidence that left the room cold. And the jury, they weren't just shocked, they were disgusted. Jurors aren't supposed to react emotionally, one courtroom reporter later said. But after that footage was played, you could feel it. Disbelief, disgust, even anger. The video was submitted as a key exhibit in Diddy's trial, already surrounded by controversy, speculation, and mounting witness testimony. But this moment marked a turning point. What had previously been described in words for the first time had a visual, and there was no way to look away. From the second the footage began, the tone was eerie. The visuals weren't chaotic or wild like people had expected. They were calculated, controlled. People in the room didn't look like they were having fun. They looked like they were being managed, positioned, tracked. Jurors watched as young individuals, many fresh into the industry, were shown arriving at a private estate. As they entered, their phones were taken, their names checked off a clipboard, and they were handed rules on laminated cards. No photos, no wandering. Follow all instructions. Inside, cameras captured guests standing around unsure of what to do, waiting for direction. Assistants moved like clockwork, certain areas were blocked off, and a whiteboard in the corner of the room listed a strict schedule. Vocal prep, guest rotations, evening reflection. This wasn't a celebration, it was a system, and Diddy was at the center of it all. One juror, according to a source close to the proceedings, was seen shaking their head multiple times during the video. Another sat with arms folded tightly, clearly disturbed. The bailiff reportedly glanced toward the jury box several times, likely to make sure no one had to step out. What the footage showed was chilling, not because of anything overt, but because of what it suggested. There was no joy in the room, no music, no laughter, just instructions and movements. One camera caught Diddy giving orders to assistants, pointing towards certain guests and checking a tablet that appeared to hold a list of names and schedules. The footage revealed someone obsessed with control, someone who didn't just throw events but orchestrated every detail down to the minute. When the lights came back on and the screen faded to black, the courtroom remained frozen. The prosecution let the silence hang in the air. No one rushed to explain the footage. They didn't need to. The jury had seen enough. Outside the courthouse, reactions were immediate. Reporters swarmed legal analysts. Social media exploded. Commentators began using the word damning without hesitation. Inside, Diddy remained stone-faced, but the jury saw through it. Over the course of the trial, the prosecution had built a case based on logistics, behavior, and testimonies, but now the emotional reaction from the jury told its own story. It wasn't just about laws, it was about ethics, morality, humanity. Courtroom experts quickly noted that juror reactions could be critical. When jurors are disgusted, one legal analyst said, "You've crossed a line." They don't just disagree with you, they're morally offended by your behavior. The defense tried to recover. In their closing remarks for the day, they claimed the footage was misunderstood and taken out of context. But even they couldn't mask the damage. Their own legal team avoided focusing on the video. Instead, they pivoted to paperwork and character witnesses, hoping the jury would forget what they'd just seen. But the jury couldn't forget. You could see it in their faces. The discomfort was etched into their expressions. What the footage showed wasn't a one-time mistake. It was a pattern. As court adjourned for the day, whispers filled the gallery. "He's done," one person said. They saw everything. In the days following the footage's release in court, multiple developments followed. A former assistant reached out to news outlets, confirming that what was shown was just the surface. Another witness who had been hesitant to speak out contacted prosecutors to offer further information. This video validated what a lot of people were afraid to say, one insider revealed. It's hard to explain what goes on at those events, but now the public has seen it and the jury has seen it. The silence is breaking. Back on his podcast, Joe Rogan wasted no time reacting to the footage and the jury's reaction. "If you can sit through that and not feel sick," he said, "you've lost your moral compass." Joe played a segment of audio summarizing what the jury saw, pausing at key moments to call out Diddy's behavior. "This isn't leadership," he said, "it's control, it's ego, and it's gross." He praised the jurors for keeping their composure and encouraged them to trust their instincts. That reaction you're feeling, that's your conscience telling you the truth. Rogan also highlighted how rare it is for a jury to have such a visceral reaction to evidence. Usually it's paperwork, timelines, contracts. But when you see it with your own eyes, when you see the discomfort, the silence, the tension, it hits differently. One former prosecutor speaking to media outlets said, "I've tried cases with tough footage before. When the jury reacts like this, it usually ends in conviction." As the trial heads toward its conclusion, one thing is certain. The footage shown in court has changed everything. It transformed abstract allegations into a visual reality, and it gave the jury something that can't be cross-examined, a gut feeling. Legal experts believe that barring a shocking turn, the trial may now hinge on the jury's emotional response, and if their reactions are any indication, Diddy's carefully built public persona is in real danger. What was once hidden behind music videos, flashing lights, and award shows has now been laid bare. And the people who matter most in that courtroom, the 12 jurors who will decide his fate, have seen the truth up close. They weren't just watching an event, they were watching a man's mask fall apart in real time.